Here's part of the terrible part. First play of the game, first defensive snap of the game. Like you said, Caden Stearns comes down with the INT, and because of this traumatized fanhood that we've experienced, I start thinking to myself, well, that's great, but maybe these highlights don't even count, don't even matter, because it's only Tulsa. Maybe we're supposed to intercept every ball they throw. Maybe we're supposed to just do what we want on this football field. So I put myself in a position to not enjoy the good parts. And then when the bad part starts coming in, it just surrounds you.
Yeah, and I don't. Yeah, that's partly just being a Texas fan. You know, it's like we don't enjoy either ones. We don't enjoy the good times or the bad times. But
the home opener's a sacrament. The anxious faithful renewing vows, shrouding bone-deep wounds in license to peril. Penitent pilgrims marching in early, leaning on the ritual to keep the dread at bay. The horror didn't blow in from Tulsa. It was nested within us before Mac was dismissed. A pestilence packed and launched from confetti cannons over twice conquered Pasadena.
That isn't true.
The horror was purchased by proxy at infernal auction. Covet's bids of panic and doubt. This wicked bargain conjured and sealed to break the plane untouched. In our unholy 13th year of legacy costs and cauterized hope, it's past time to tear out the horror by its knotted root. We must give it new host in the belly of Saturday's Wicker Trojan and set it alight. No serenade, no fire brigade. We don't need a game plan Saturday. We need burnt offerings smoking on the holy royal altar of DKR. Black cleats for a black Sabbath to expel this hurly-burly run amok. Demon be gone. Poltergeist, leave this home! You ever pre-game an exorcism? Pack an extra koozie. It's gonna be one hell of a tailgate.
Wonderfully entertaining, the delusionally optimistic outcome of Shane Buechele's first start against Notre Dame. They win this shootout in overtime. And there's famously the call, Texas is back. And they rise as high as 11 in the poll. And they weren't the 11th best team in the country. But something about the aftermath of that game. There's one specific post on Burnt Orange Nation in the wake of that Notre Dame game. And it's a post that involves 2 5-star recruits who are now recruiting a third 5-star recruit. So there's 2 5-star recruits who are on the field, who are at the game, and in the ecstatic aftermath of Texas beating Notre Dame, those 2 guys have reached out to a 5-star offensive lineman named Alex Leatherwood. Now, if I just said Alex Leatherwood, there's only 2 choices. He can play D-line or he can play O-line, but I think Alex, to me, is more of an offensive lineman's name.
Yeah.
Alex Leatherwood is a 5-star. Baron Browning is a 5-star. Marvin Wilson is a 5-star. So there's 15 stars in play from a recruiting perspective. Now, spoiler alert, 0 of those 15 stars come to Texas.
They don't go to Texas, no.
But here is how crazy I was in the aftermath of Notre Dame. When I read that post, I start doing the math. And I'm looking at the advanced schedule. USC is coming to Austin. And that is when this team comes together. None of that came to fruition. I'm still excited. They tell you not to overdo it, not to get too up or too down. I'm just going to go out. I am overdoing it on this game. This game is do or die in so many ways for me.
Yeah, I mean, you're putting it all on this game, obviously. So, but yeah, I wouldn't overstate the importance, or I wouldn't understate the importance of a game like this. It's going to be a big recruiting weekend. There will be a ton of recruits in town. But as you mentioned, a win, just like that win against Notre Dame, doesn't ensure that these 5-star recruits come to the University of Texas. But yeah, it's excitement. They're building it up. A lot is talked about, the 05 game. I guess it was actually in 06, but I guess the 05 season. And Vince Young, and so they're hyping it up like that, which is good. National televised. It'll be a big game. But yeah, you got to go out and win. But I think a loss would be way more catastrophic from a recruiting standpoint than a win will be helpful, if that makes sense.
Oh, I hate that calculation, and
yeah,
I immediately know it's true. So
yep.
there's greater liability in this matchup than there is benefit.
Oh, for sure. And I think you hit on that just when you talked about Notre Dame. I mean, that Notre Dame win seemed like it was a turning point and was going to be a big deal, and that's where Charlie Strong, he got it back. Now, we're going to win a bunch of games, and all of these recruits are going to start coming again. And, before you know it, Texas is back, right? Won the game, lost a whole bunch of them afterwards. It turned out Notre Dame wasn't any good. So, yeah, that loss would have been even worse, probably.
This one plays into the immediate importance of USC this weekend, because Notre Dame, part of savoring that victory is that we were demolished in South Bend the year before.
Yeah, I was there. It was bad. We didn't cross the 50, I don't think.
And so USC, Sam Ellinger, he seems like just a true blue Texas fan from way back. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the Texas locker room, the players, aren't giving a great deal of thought to something that happened January 4th, 2006. I just don't think it's big in their minds. But I do think that last year's overtime loss is big. So I think year to year, when you get a chance to beat a team that beat you the year before, especially the way it happened.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you're going to see, and what you saw last year, and what you're going to see this year too, just because they're just not there yet, that you're going to see them playing up and down the competition, right? So I expect them to play well against TCU. I expect them to play well against Oklahoma, who are probably way better. Oklahoma especially is a much better team than Texas is. But they're going to play them tight and might even win the game.
So thus far, the offense has some big plays and inconsistency, but then specifically hasn't responded in the crucial moments and really hasn't even identified the crucial moments. That's what I felt like when we had the ball up 21-7. It's like, now is the time where you have to let them know we're taking this game back. You're not going to be lit back in this game. You're down 2 scores without the ball. You're not in the game.
Exactly.
You're down 2 scores with the ball. You're firmly in the game.
And I think that's why stats can lie. And when you look at stats, when you look at a box score after a game, and like I say, if you looked at this box score from a Sam Ehlinger and from an offensive standpoint, you'd say, hey, nice game, good game offense, you know? But when you're watching the game, it matters at what point those things happen. A sequence of events matter in football.
When you go from 21-0 to 21-7, what happens next is so important.
Yeah, you have to respond. That's just the offensive sequences, when they did good and when they did bad, were all at the wrong times.
And I think you hit it on the head. The defense has room for improvement, but they have responded. They responded at the end of Maryland. Mm-hmm. They gave the offense chances.
The offense had 3 possessions in the last 6 minutes of the game, 3 turnovers, and they just kept giving them back the ball.
They just kept giving it back.
I think the response from the defense has been pretty good, but if you continue to put your defense into those situations, you're going to give up points. And I think that's what happened in this game. The offense just goes through these ruts, and it's reminiscent of what's happened in the last 10 years, is that we just go through these long offensive stretches to where literally we don't do anything. I mean, for these long stretches. And like you say, then the other team will score a touchdown. We got to bounce back. You got to take the ball, go down there, at least get a field goal or flip the field again, or do something. And you just see the opposite happen. The kick go 3 and out real quick, and it's back. The defense is back out there to do something.
Well, and we were a little spoiled last year because we got to flip the field without stringing together first down.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a punter like that, he just flips the field.
We don't have that. We don't have it. And I think you're right. If they'd put up a field goal then, if you make it 24-7, but what happens instead, we don't get it going. And what do? Of course they throw deep. Of course they're going to take a shot. And now we're in this horrific scenario where Tulsa's in striking distance.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the inconsistency of the offense so far these first 2 games is something that's really troubling to me. Like, I'm not really troubled with the defense hadn't played well. But I see where they're not, and I see where they're going to improve, and they'll be fine, I think.
I think this is a crucial game. Do you have any kind of prediction on what Texas team we're going to see? You said play to the level of competition is a theory.
I think you'll see Texas play their best game. I don't think that would be hard for them to play their best game. I think their last 2 games have not been anywhere close to their best. So I really do. I think you're going to see them play their best game, and I think they'll be up to the challenge. And I think there'll be a decent crowd, and if we can get going in the beginning, that crowd will be excited and up and to the task, and I think they'll perform. I'll go ahead and make my prediction of a 31-17 ball game in favor of the Longhorns.
Definitive. We would be remiss after week 2 of the college football season if we didn't discuss College Station and what's going on in College Station right now.
Well, I think right now they're having a ceremony to put a banner up in the stadium for that 2-point loss.